Friday evening about 7:45 West Coast time. Thinking back to Wednesday when I was watching Jack Smith's public testimony before the House Judiciary Committee and watching Jim Jordan and Andy Biggs and Troy Nels and some of the other Republicans from that committee when they were questioning Jack Smith, trying to get their little sound bites for Fox News and their little video clips so that they could go on to a primetime Fox News show. And it reminded me of something that I'd thought a few years ago. The first, and I think the most significant institution that just utterly collapsed in capitulation and subservience to Donald Trump was the Republican Party. And if you think back, I think it was June of 2015 when Donald Trump came down his little golden escalator and announced that he was running for president by giving an incredibly racist, bigoted speech about Mexicans. And nobody in the Republican Party wanted him to be anywhere near them initially. Nobody in the Republican Party took his candidacy seriously. But within a week, he shot to the top of the polls in the Republican primary race for president. And when that happened, except for the candidates who were running against him, the rest of the party rolled over. They gave up. They quit. They gave up. Almost the entirety of the Republican Party hierarchy at the top gave up. And they just turned the Republican Party over to Donald Trump. They didn't try to organize a way to get rid of him. There are all kinds of things that party could have done to prevent him from winning that primary race in 2016. Because they, along with everybody else in this country, including Donald Trump, did not believe that he could win the Republican primary. And then when he did, including Donald Trump, they did not believe that he could beat Hillary Clinton. Going into election night, Donald Trump didn't think he had a chance to win the election. And before that, he didn't think he had a chance to win the primary. But it exposed so much about the Republican Party that he did. Because at that point in time, the Republican Party establishment was completely out of touch with its own base. At that point in time, the Republican Party was the party of elites. It was the party of the educated. It was the party of the professional class, Wall Street. And Donald Trump flipped that on its head and brought over the white working class from Democrats. Because Democrats were and still are completely fucking out of touch with their own base. They didn't recognize the racism and the misogyny and the bigotry within their own party in the white working class. Donald Trump saw that and exploited it. And since he brought in all these new people, the Republican Party was just like, cool. And that was 10 years ago. That was the first, and I think most important in historical terms, capitulation, surrender, institutional capitulation and surrender to Donald Trump was the Republican Party. And the only way that this is going to stop is when that Republican Party base, the MAGA base, turns on Donald Trump. I wonder if that's even possible. I mean, they believe literally every single thing that comes out of his mouth, except for the things that he has to say when it comes to failing to release the Epstein files. Everything else they believe. Hook, line, and sinker. They are 100% convinced that Donald Trump is going to build a Trump Tower on Greenland, and there's going to be a McDonald's there. And a golf course carved out of the ice, I guess, on Greenland. A big chunk of ice. A big chunk of ice. Like, he's going to carve a fucking golf course out of ice. You know, again, it's just Donald Trump just took advantage. That's what Donald Trump does. That's what he's always done. That's what he continues to do. He just took advantage of something that he saw that others didn't see, and just made promises to people who were too stupid and gullible to see through the promises that he was making. He'll be gone in a couple of years. Donald Trump is almost dead, okay? Donald Trump is almost dead. And I read a really interesting thing today that, you know, Republican voters under 30 have no use for J.D. Vance. They do not like him. They do not like him at all. And so who's going to replace him? It's going to be a series of candidates that we're going to see in the 2028 primary race that are going to be worse than Donald Trump. They're going to try to be worse than Donald Trump because they have so corrupted and manipulated and diluted their own voting base that they just have to get more and more and more and more extreme, more like actual Nazis in order to win those votes. But it all started when Donald Trump came down that fucking escalator, man. And a week later was at the top of the polls. And the Republican Party gave up. It's amazing. Have a safe weekend, everybody. And fuck Donald Trump, and fuck you for voting for him. Assholes.